Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Manahil Jawali and I am welcome to everyone. I'm from Karachi, Pakistan. Today we have the privilege of hosting a very special guest whose journey is a source of inspiration and learning. She is a distinct guide professional, an innovator, and a leader in the field of strategic design. The founder and creator at Mass in Design, a member of the AHM Hispanic-American Women's Association and holder of not one but two master degree. Her work has significantly contributed to the work and success of numerous businesses, and she is an advocate for preserving culture and enhancing educational opportunities for Hispanic students in Carolina. Please join me in welcoming the incredible, talented, and accomplished Laura. Ma'am Laura, it is an absolute honor to have you here with us. We are excited to delve into your life journey and understand your professional insights and learn from your experience. So, without further ado, let's get started. Welcome, ma'am. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. And you may know, English is not my first language, and this is my first interview in English. So just give me grace.
Oh, that's great. Great. So, without now, let's move on to our interview. Before moving on, question, can you please introduce yourself for my viewers?
Yeah, thank you. And actually, you just read kind of my resume. So what I can add upon that is that now I identify myself as a creative person moving towards business strategy. So what it means is that I have the ability to visualize solutions for clients in forms that sometimes it never had been done before. Like we can implement different ideas. And one of my biggest goals, as you were sharing with me, your mission, which I love your mission now, is to implement solutions that are in alignment with the environment, with the society, that being humanitarian as well. So pretty much I move towards design, like branding, innovation, editorial, a lot of things that I love to do, like the crafty stuff, like all the paper stuff and markers I love to draw. But most importantly is that I'm in that process of upgrading my clients to entertain the responsibility, the social responsibility, and implement those resources into their company. So thank you for having me here once more.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. It's my pleasure. So, now let's move on to questions. My first question is on your screen. So, ma'am Laura, could you share with us journey in founding and creating Mass in Design? What inspired you to start this venture?
Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna try to be quick, but this is an amazing friendship story. When I was about to graduate as a graphic designer, I had a friend. She's my beloved friend. Actually, hola, Danielita. We're in Pakistan now, live. So she was working with clients as a wedding coordinator, right? So she was taking care of her brides, and sometimes she couldn't find the perfect wedding invitations for their event, right? So she was always complaining about print shops over my hometown, Torreon, Coahuila, in Mexico. And she told me, you know what? No one can make this happen. I want the glitter, I want the borders, I want the embosser, everything for my client. And then I was like, okay, let me just try it, right? So I start creating wedding invitations, and then she came with her client, and she loved it. And the next week she came back, I need a different kind of event. Now this time is going to be, let's say, black and white. And then the next day she come to me like, now I have a child party, like different styles. So in the reality, I was enjoying the process of being creative and she was the one who was providing me with clients. And I started my company at the age of 21, which I recommend if you want to pursue an entrepreneurship career. The sooner you start, the sooner you're making mistakes, so you learn and then you improve. So that's the way I did.
All right, ma'am, that's great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful answer. So now let's move on to next question. My next question is: you are a member of AHAM, Hispanic American Women's Association. Can you tell us more about your role in the organization and its impact on the Hispanic community in South Carolina?
Thank you. I love this question. Thank you for asking about AHAM. That's the pronunciation in English is like AHAM. In Spanish is AHAM, and it stands. The origin of this nonprofit is that some Latin people who came to the States, actually in South Carolina, the region, we call this place the upstate of South Carolina. So they noticed that not much young Latin students went to college, and here is super expensive. I know now we have more opportunities like studying online, which is amazing, and all the connections and trainings that we have. But back in the day, it was actually 25 years ago. They started this fundraising. They started by just creating some venues for Latin party, like sharing the food, the music, and they were collecting money to scholarships. So, long story short, when I came here to the upstate in South Carolina, I the first time I met this association was through Facebook. So, one recommendation: if you want to connect with people around the world, use social media. And I know you talk everything about this, and this is amazing. But that's a way. A lady from Mexico noticed my new status, and she connect with me and invite me to the association. And actually, she was very pushy because she told me, I know you are an entrepreneur. I know you have your business in Mexico, and I have an opportunity for you. And I was like, what is that? Okay, I have a scholarship for you. She at the time she was telling me about one amazing program, which is the Fearless Leader training by Kathy McAfee, one of my beloved mentors here in United States. And she told me, if you come to the nonprofit and you make this interview in English, and believe me, 2 years ago I was so afraid to speak in English. And then she told me, if you feel that you can do it, like the interview, then it's 90% sure that you're going to grant this scholarship, right? So without all my imposter syndrome and all the scare that I was in during that interview, I noticed that all the topics in that fearless leader training was the right path for me, because that's specifically what I was struggling with. So because I connected, and I'm a student with a scholarship from AHAM, so you can tell the precision of that decision is that for since 2022 I committed as a volunteer. Now, actually, I'm a collaborator, like more towards using my company to help AHAM to spread their message through social media, posting, and all the branding that they need. So now we're in this recession effect that now I became a student, granted a scholarship, then a volunteer, and now we're in a commercial relationship, which is amazing. But I'm still donate so much to them. So I believe that connecting with nonprofits, it's also something that is going to open your network. Like the whole network is going to be available to you.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So now let's move on to next question. My next question is: You hold two master's degree, one in strategic design and innovation and an MBA. How have these educational experience shaped your professional approach?
Okay, thank you for the question. As you can see, I have a lot of time to study, right? So I have been doing the first MBA that I did was back in Mexico. Actually, the two of them were I was in Mexico. The first one, which was the business mastery, business administration, teach me so much about how to manage my business. Because as I was telling you and sharing with you all guys, I started the wedding invitation store with my friend, and then suddenly I got clients, but my system was not the best. And sometimes I wasn't um, getting revenue on my sales because I was focusing on the product, I was focusing on the design to get the prettiest print ever, and then I was not making money, to be honest. I enjoyed the process, but it was not 100% profitable. So what I learned by doing that is I connected with different people with different backgrounds. Actually, pretty much all my peers were engineers, CPAs, like numbers people, right? And I was a graphic girl, the colorful one. And then they helped me to, okay, now we need to create spreadsheets in Excel. So you need to master how to run your business. And the second master is specific is about design and innovation. So because I hold a bachelor in graphic design, I thought, why not? It's about design, right? But my surprise was that all the master was focused on user experience, design thinking, and innovation. So all the process that usually big companies like Apple, Walmart, or any big company uses to improve their products and services, I was able to have access to all of those lessons and how to apply the method. That's why then, when I finished that master degree, I just realized, okay, now I understand more how to help not my client, but the client of my client, which at the end of the day is the one who's going to make you a millionaire. So I think that that's the biggest takeaway that I got from the two masters.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So, in your work with business owner, what key strategies do you employ to help them develop a focused brand message and digital marketing strategy?
Okay, so the first rule of the game for me is knowing your value proposition. Because if you know what you're offering to your clients, that will lead everything and it's going to set your message in the right place. The most common mistake that I see, and I have done this, I mean, it was my mistake too, to think that my product was like the thing that I need to promote, right? Like the wedding invitation. Hey, do you want some? Do you need one invitation? It was not really what it was supposed to be. Now that I see my brand, it is more about understanding what is the appealing of your event. You want to be luxurious, you want to be like more hippie, you want to have unicorns. So to be able to understand the client is my biggest skill, the skill that I develop. And then when I notice this, I teach those skills to my partners, like the girls who were helping me during the process in Mexico. So I teach them how to sell. But the only way is if you know your value proposition. So for anyone who is thinking about a branding strategy, marketing, before to do that, just think about what is the value you're bringing to your client because that's why clients pay you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So, what has been most rewarding aspect of helping businesses reach their target audience through your strategic design and marketing efforts?
Okay, so I it comes to my mind two aspects. Like in the profession, you always want to be that piece of the puzzle of the journey of success. So for me, being able to work with brands in an international level gave me the satisfaction that I have no, that I the satisfaction to be able to say that I'm an international designer. But above all, when I work with small business owners, or not even so small, when I help them to clear the mind and then give them clarity about what is the next step to do with their brands, for me is that specific wow moment when I see their faces like, oh, I'm getting it, so now I need to do this. Or when I show, this is a very particular moment when I join in a Zoom meeting to present like the final version of their logo, the brand, to see in their eyes like they got excitement because they are feeling that that's the correct sign. Because you can create as many graphics as you want, but just one is going to do the connection between you and your client. And when I see that, for me it's like, okay, my work is done.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now and I can see the question. Can you hear
Drawings,
me?
sticky notes, pencil colors, and
Yes, I can hear you and I can read the question. So I think by reading is something that is very powerful. And as a young teenager, I got the. Um, do you hear me now? I just want to
yes, I
confirm.
can hear.
Okay. Oh, perfect. So when I was young, like younger than today, I ran into Harry Potter, and I just love the magic and the all the world of Harry Potter. So I think that by reading, you can discover 10,000 worlds, and just to improve the imagination. And I know sometimes happens that when you watch a movie and then you have read the book, you say like, oh no, they forgot about this. So I think reading is overall my biggest hobby. This is one of my book shields, but I have plenty of these all around the house. My husband is going crazy with all my collecting books.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for your answer. So, my next question is based on your reach, experience, and what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who wish to enter the field of strategic design and innovation?
Okay, I'm thinking about two things. The first will be just be fearless and start developing your creativity. It doesn't matter if you don't draw like an artist, it doesn't matter if you don't have like the ability of writing, but just keep doing it. Because some of the things that I have learned through the years is that mastery, it doesn't come right away. You need to keep working, and then sometimes you will get it. And one key that you will notice that someone is that you're improving is when someone recognize you. Like for example, to you, when I saw your invitation and I look into your Facebook account, I was like, oh wow, I want to connect with this girl, she's doing it. Because you're so young and now you have the ability to learn so many things. So I can just imagine where you will be like in 10 years. So of course I want to be connected with you all the time, right? So that's the way you get mastery, as you were saying before the interview, just by speaking. I wasn't able to speak in English 2 years ago, literally. And just by showing up, making mistakes, asking for corrections, that's a very good thing to do. Sometimes we're afraid to do mistakes, but actually, if you don't make any mistakes, you're never going to improve. So keep being creative and being comfortable by having mistakes.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful answer. So now let's move on to next question. What are your goals for the future, both for math and design and your personal career?
Okay, thank you for the question. I mean, my scene is moving towards the digital because uh, one, the sorry, once that COVID hit the whole world, I decided to stop massing for a while because it was all about parties and getting and gatherings, getting together, you know. And still, some crazy people call me, "Hey, can you make some invitations? We're having a party." And I was like, "What? We're in the middle of COVID," so I say no. Um, no regrets on that. So I paused the project in Mexico, and then suddenly when everything came back to new normal, then transition it into the digital. So because I mean, sometimes it's easier, but I still love to do the crafty stuff. So for massing, I think it's going to be involved. And now I had the blessing this very year to be able to found my own company here in the United States. So it's Three Winds International. And one of the things that I recently learned from an amazing training that I will always recommend, which is Money and You, and you know, your audience and you as well, you're looking for new trainings and learning. And this specific training is all over the world and is accelerated business school, which is an amazing, I don't even don't know how to explain. And the people who have been there, because of the experience you get, is let's say that is a experiential learning, because you are working in teams, but then suddenly you got insights like, why is my behavior like this, and why I'm seeing this behavior in that, in my friend, or in the person in front of me. So it makes you understand a lot about yourself. So by doing this, I integrated the big question, which, if you want, I can share this with you, is a quote from Buckminster Fuller, which was an amazing creator. That's the best way to describe him. He was an architect, scientific. He worked in sociality as well, like as many science you can relate. He was a genius. So he gave us this mission about how can we improve the world. So now my perspective about design has changed, because for me it's not only doing the graphics anymore, not doing the branding and make my client successful, but it's how can I integrate the social responsibility into this company. So for me, that was a game changer. And Three Wings has just 3 months of birth, so it's brand new. And I hope that will be leading my future as a professional as well. And I just got disconnected, but I'm gonna keep here while you're joining again. Can you hear me now? I was saying hello to your audience, but you're on mute, or I cannot hear you. I don't know why. Maybe your microphone. Okay, I think we're on now.
Can
Now,
you hear me now?
yeah.
Okay. Is it complete your answer or you can continue?
Did you hear me? Because I
Yes.
lost you for a
Yes,
moment.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I just want to share with you all the quote. So maybe you can comment on that in your video if you think that this makes sense. So the quote that we received, as we call this the big question, is how can we make the world for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological or disadvantage to anyone? Do you think this is possible?
Yes.
So we are done. We just need to keep working towards that because at the end of the day, we know we have the resources, we have the connection. And this interview for me is a spontaneous cooperation. You are giving me your time, you're giving me your space. I get to hang with your friends and your audience. And then, of course, I can connect you with so much more people. So that's the key of business as you master the networking.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. So, as we come to this of this insightful conversation, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Ma'am Laura for joining us today. Ma'am, your experience, wisdom, and the journey you we shared have been truly enlightening and inspiring. To our audience, thank you for tuning in. I hope today's interview, today's discussion has offer you valuable perspective and ideas to reflect upon. So, thank you, ma'am, once again for your time and wonderful conversation. To our listeners, stay tuned for more inspiring stories and discussions here. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Mahali. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you again.
I'm also happy. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.